Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Codetega. My name is Brett, and real quick, we're just going to be setting up our dev environment so that we can code a Node.js application, or in this instance, a React application. Essentially, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be installing the tools necessary in order to code on your local machine, on your computer. This is a PC edition. This is not for Mac users. You can follow along if you have a Mac. The steps are very similar. You just have to do some configuration in a Mac that you don't have to really do on a PC. This is just a PC edition. I'll be putting out a Mac edition later on. All right, and let's go into it. So we're going to be setting up our dev environment. The objective for this is we're going to install a tool called Visual Studio Code. If you already have that, you can skip to step two. And then we're going to be installing Node.js and NPM, which is a Node package manager. They come bundled in Node.js when we install it. We're also going to be installing Git. It's not quite necessary for running software on your local machine, but it is an essential tool that I'm going to walk you through on how to install, because you're going to want to pull repositories, especially if you follow along with a lot of my tutorials. You can pull a lot of these repositories and these code projects I've already built, and then you can pull them on your machine through a format called Git. And then we're just going to verify that we've installed all these tools, and then we're just going to set up a basic React app to make sure that it works. And so, real quick, what are these tools? VS Code is just a powerful code editor. It's what you probably see in movies and on TV when developers are typing away. They're typing on a powerful code editor, also known as an IDE. You'll probably hear that a lot more as an IDE, and it's just a code editor. And then Node.js is a JavaScript runtime software for executing JavaScript on a Node server. And then NPM is a package manager for JavaScript. And think of NPM as like a way to call and install libraries into your project. A lot of times when you're developing, you don't have to develop a lot of the code yourself. There are a ton of libraries that you can access and install into your project, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you want to do something. Some examples might be a calendar, a chart, or something like that that already exists in some capacity that you already understand and you know. And then that's how we install it, is through npm. And then Git is a version control system. It's how you will work with code in a development environment with other developers. When you're working on projects with other developers, you do use Git, which is where you push your code to a repository or like a cloud-based system, and then you can pull updates into your code through a version control system like Git. So real quick, that's what we're going to be working on. So first things first, let's just, where is it here? Just pull up a browser. And the first thing we need to do is go to Visual Studio Code. And you're going to go here and you're just going to download for Windows. They do have a Mac version, so if you're following along in your Mac, you can download this for Mac as well. So we'll just download this for Windows. Once it's downloaded, just execute that file and download it like you would any other piece of software. Now, once you download Visual Studio Code, let me pull up I'm not going to re-download it in this tutorial because I already have it downloaded on my machine, but it's pretty simple, cut and dry. Download it, execute the file from the download folder, and install it into your computer. And then you should be able to get a little icon for Visual Studio Code on your desktop where you can open it. Let's do, actually, I'll do this. Once that's installed, go ahead. It should open automatically. If it doesn't, let me know. And then I'll go make directory tutorial. Change directory. Let me open this real quick so I can show you when mine is done installed. All right, sick. We now have, what do you call it? Visual Studio Code. Yours is probably going to look different. You're probably going to have 4 options to choose from of what you want your screen to look like. It's like dark mode, black mode, white mode. You can go through all those settings and set them up. You're not going to mess anything up or anything you can't change. So just pick the settings that you want and install it. If it doesn't look like this, that's okay. This is just a theme that I have on my Visual Studio Code. It's the exact same piece of software, so it just looks a little different with some different colors. So open it up, and it should look something like this once you get to Visual Studio. Next, just minimize that for now. We'll come back to it later. And now we're going to install Node.js. So you can go ahead and install Node. So go to Node.js, install. Let's Google that. And then here it is. So Node.js lets you. Well, this is not the way we want to build it, so let's just go to Node.js, and we're going to go download Node.js Lite LTS version. So this will pick the folder you want to save it in, save it, and it should download your version 22.3, or what is it, 20.15 right now. And when we check whether or not we've installed it, that's the version we're going to be looking for. My local machine currently is on an older version of Node, so don't worry if we don't match up when we check that version. It's just that you're going to be on the newer version, which comes with more effective libraries, and it's going to run smoother. All right, sweet. So once you have that downloaded, what we want to do is we want to go back into our Visual Studio Code, and we're going to go File, or let's just go View. Where is it? I usually open it with a. Oh yeah, here you go. Terminal. So open a terminal and go New Terminal, and it should pop up something like this with PowerShell. So to check whether or not you've installed Node on your machine, you can just run Node slash or dash V. If you run Node dash V, it should tell you the version you're working with. It should look like something like that. If it does not populate or gives you some sort of error red code down here, like something like this, something bad options or anything like that, if you get just an error code with a red dot, restart Visual Studio Code, close it out and reopen it. It just has not loaded the Node version into Visual Studio as of yet. The other way you can check it is just opening a terminal in your Windows machine. So if you just go down to your search bar and click terminal and open up a Windows PowerShell, you could do the same thing in here, and it should show you that you downloaded Node. Also in the terminal, whether you do it in Visual Studio Code or whether you do it in this terminal, we want to check and make sure you have Node Package Manager as well by looking at npm-v, and that'll show you the Node package version that you're working with. Keep in mind, your version is probably going to be different than mine. I'm working with an older library for a current project I'm on. So my version is 8.19. I'm not sure what the current version, npm current version. Latest version is 9, looks like. So you should have 9. Mine's just a little outdated, but that's okay. So you should get something like 9 or 8 dot something. But yeah, npm run version. That verifies that we've installed Node and npm, which you're going to need to run a React app. At this point, you have everything you need to create and run a React application or a Node application. But we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to quickly install Git. So we're going to go to Git's website and just Google Git. And then what we want to do is we want to download Windows, and we just want to click here to download the latest Git version of Git. Once you do this, normal procedure, download here, pick the library you want to save it in. Once it's downloaded, run it, install it, and then restart Visual Studio Code again. Once it's verified, what we're just going to do is we're going to open back up our Visual Studio Code. Go in, open your terminal again, new terminal, and just run git/v, same thing. Whoops, that is not the right one. We want to run git -- version. My apologies. Oh, there we go. Git -- version. And you should get your version of what you're running, your Git version. Mine, once again, is going to be outdated because I'm on an older machine. Looks like it's 2.4.5.2, and I am running, where is it? 2.3.5.1. So you should get 2.4.5.2 once it's installed. Once again, if you're not seeing this when you run git -- version, restart your Visual Studio Code and try it again, or just open up a new terminal, close out of the PowerShell, open up a new terminal, and check there. Whoops, here we go. Yeah, just check there and see if you got it. Now you should have, that should give you all the tools you need to start a React app. Next thing we want to do is let's just do this. Let's create a folder. So we'll go into our C drive, open up a Windows, uh, your folder, your file structure, your Windows folders, and we'll just go into desktop. I'll just do it in desktop. Create a new folder, and we'll just call this React App Test. Oh yeah, do not put dashes here. Do not put anything, just one solid word. React has a weird uh, error functionality that it does not allow dashes and stuff when you want to start a React app. So just keep it one word, no spaces or anything, something like what I have right here. And then you're just going to create that, and we're going to show more options, and you could open it with code. So we'll just open it with code. If not, just go, if you don't have that option like I just had, just go into File, Open Folder, and find your folder and open that in that regard. So it should bring you to something like this, your new Visual Studio Code, and we're just going to verify that everything works later. Exit all those. We're in our React app test, and this is where we can create a file or folder. But what we're going to do is we're just going to open up another terminal, and we're going to run this command. It's npm. Oh wait, sorry, npx create React app. So it's create dash React dash app, and then you want to name it whatever you want to name it. So for this, we'll just do testing. I'm just going to be doing a React app called testing, and this will take a second. So what it's going to do is there's already like you already have Git. It's something similar with npx. It's like a node package for installing a large code base like React. And so it's going to the React site. It's going to download React, and it's going to create this app folder called testing, or your React app folder here in your folder structure. And it's going to give us a few things. We'll wait for it to download, but it's going to have what's called the source directory. It's src, and that's where your app is coded more or less when you're running the React app. And if you look at some of my other tutorials, you'll be able to follow along now if you've done all these steps, and this is what you're getting as you download it. So if there's any questions on this, just comment below. If I'm missing something, if you're getting an error code that I'm not covering, let me know, and I'll make sure that that's covered. You could also reach out to me at hello@codetega.com. If you need some like one-on-one help or whatever, we can walk you through that. But there's also lots of tutorials out there. Mine may not be the best. I just want to offer one so that when people follow along with my other projects, they have everything they need to be able to follow along. So this is all you need to follow along with most of, like 99% of my videos and all my tutorials that I put out. This also allows you to run things like Angular and Vue and other node based frameworks. Sweet. So it looks like we've installed a React app, and so as you can see, there's the source directory. That's a very important directory, and there's a app.js file, which is where your React app generally runs. I'm not going to dig into React too much. I do that in other tutorials. I just want to give you kind of a rundown as this goes. So we are now good to go. We've installed Node, we've installed Visual Studio Code, and we have installed Git. And and we've also installed a React app. We've created a React app, and in order to just test this, all we got to do is go npm start node package manager start, and it should start our React app. It did not start a React app. Why not? Oh, we might want to change directory. So make sure you're in the right directory. I'm not in the right directory. Change directory testing. So that's CD testing. That's what you do in the terminal, and that should open. Now, as you can see in our command line, we are actually in the testing folder. And so now we can run npm start. I was not in the right folder. And that should start our React app, and we should be good to go to be able to see and run our first application through Node Package Manager and Node.js. We'll wait for it to start and just make sure we don't get any error codes. Takes a second because I'm recording, so my computer is a little bit slower than normal. But here we go. And always just pay attention to what the terminal says when stuff happens. Just missing start script, that tells you that it's not in the right spot. So. All right, here we go. Should take way quicker on your machine, I'm hoping. I think it's just slow because I'm recording video at this time, so it takes a little bit of power from my machine. So you should get something like this at localhost 3000. That's port 3000. That's your local host, which is your local dev environment. As long as you don't have any crazy configurations on your machine where it doesn't allow you to do this, this should start right up just like it did right here. If you're running into errors, there's a number of ways you can troubleshoot this is by looking at that command line like I was talking about down there in the terminal. Seeing what it says if you get any error codes and just kind of troubleshooting that. Plug it into ChatGPT, Google it, go to Stack Overflow. That's a great resource. I don't want to talk too much or go too far in down the rabbit hole, but there's environment settings that you need to have on your machine, and if you configure or tweak those at all, it could mess this up entirely. So you might need to change some environment variable or your host file. But don't worry about that. It should start right up as long as you haven't done anything weird to your machine. And there you go. There you have it. We have successfully created a React app. I thank you for watching. Now follow along to my other tutorials. If you haven't already, click subscribe. It would really help me out a lot, even if this is the one tutorial that you watch. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you again.